Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 65th episode of Downtime Podcast with Jeremy and Alyssa. Today, we are talking about Terrace House, Part 3 of Opening New Doors. Isn't that right, Alyssa?
Man! Oh, man. Oh, my God. Where do we even begin with this?
Alright, well, we can kind of break it down episode by episode because things happen sequentially. And the biggest thing in the first episode would probably be Ami leaving.
Oh, thank fucking God.
So it's kind of funny. The hosts really hate Ami, but the people living in the house love Ami.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Oh, I've definitely noticed that. I guess it just goes to show how much the edit isn't showing everyone. To be honest, though, like, Ami was not... There came a point where she just wasn't really entertaining anymore. Also, I was tired of her relationship with Taka. Like, we needed to scrap that. Like, that just had to be let go.
That was just
It was weird, and it was holding down the season, in my opinion. An entire part 2 was dedicated to that, and nothing happened.
Yeah, I would say part 1 and part 2 are really lackluster, but part 3, everything is so much better.
It was so good!
so good.
Man.
Yeah. Alright, before we go on to like major events that happened in this part 1, or episode 1, part 3, Ami leaves. We get a new member that comes in. Her name is Mayu.
Before we get into that, let's also address really quickly that we're finally seeing Sean and Tsubasa show a lot more relationship, and kind of like we're finally seeing this stage of them really pursuing a relationship. And especially with Tsubasa, she's training to be part of that playoff or competition, and Sean is like providing a lot of support, so that's really cool.
Fuck. What was I gonna say? Yeah, she's basically trying to do her own thing.
Yes,
but also trying to balance the fact that she's aware that Shion likes her a lot.
I'm glad they're aware, to be honest.
Yeah, like they know that they like each other, but then they're not really doing anything about it at this point. So I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, they both know how much she values her hockey team, so it's very mutual, I think.
Yeah, and he's aware that she wants to do really well, and he doesn't want to hold her back. So I kind of understand.
Yeah.
So, but going back to the Ami thing, when Ami left, like they're all crying and stuff, and I was laughing because what the commentator said about Shohei and how he's like, oh, I didn't get to go to the theme park with her. And they're all laughing. They're all like, oh my God, like seriously, like they all don't like her. And then all the people in the house are like, oh my God, we're gonna miss you so much. And Tsubasa's like, you're one of my really close friends. And I was like, oh, come on. Get out of here.
They actually showed Tsubasa and Ami hanging out, though. So that, that was to be expected. And they're both the same age. But Shohei, though, like, oh my God.
Like, seriously, dude? Like, come on, man. Like, you didn't really like her that much, right?
I know.
But it's kind of funny. Once the new girl Mayu walked in, Shohei's like, who's Ami?
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's your name? Like, he totally forgot about Ami.
Damn. Oh, man. This is... Mayu Cosetta Mayu.
Mayu Cosetta.
Dude,
yeah,
this is gonna be a long conversation. Okay, let's get into it.
Well, let's break it down by episode because it will be a long conversation, and we can divide it up into each episode.
All right.
So Mayu arrives in the first episode, and apparently she's got big boobs, and that's all they talk about. That's all they talk about for the first episode. Oh, hey, guess what? Let's look up her Instagram. She's got big boobs.
Yeah, and
like, okay.
The interesting thing about that is when she came onto the show, it was actually pretty wholesome. She came in the morning, she met Sean and Shohei for the first time, and they went grocery shopping, they went to the igloo. Everything was all normal until, like, the afternoon dinner. And she's just like, yeah, like, I broke up with my long-term relationship. Like, I'm just studying, but also I'm a model. And the reason I'm a model is because I need to like take advantage of my assets. And I was like, huh? Like, and then
I knew what that was.
Cue like this 4-minute segment of her introduction when she's going to the onsen bath, and freaking Shohei and Sean go to her Instagram.
Just look at her boobs. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
why? Like, is this really necessary?
I can't believe, to be honest, like, and this, obviously there has to be some sort of cultural difference, because even the hosts went on about her boobs for like a good, for their 7-minute commentary, and I was like, guys.
Yeah. No, but you're right though. Like, to your point, it is a cultural thing. It's more like people in Japan really care about looks. And that's why like makeup and like beauty care and facial care is all like a really huge thing in Japan. And I guess a lot of people in Japan, a lot of women in Japan don't have really big boobs like that. So I guess that's why they were like, oh, hey, this girl's got big boobs. Let's talk about it. And it does make for funny commentary. I could see why they did that. So that's pretty much episode 1.
I think so, yeah.
And I love the name of episode 1. It's Sinful
I know.
Cleavage. It's so funny.
But damn, episode 2 fucking goes off though. Like,
so that's where everything really begins.
My
Episode
God.
1 is like, episode 1 is like Yakuza 0. This is the prequel to everything. It sets up for a bigger adventure, but it is its own adventure in its own right. Episode 2 is Valentine's Day, pretty much.
Man. Oh my God. Okay. So here we have all the girls in the room and they're hanging out with each other. And up until this point, Mayu and Sean were at the dinner table, and she asks him if he's interested in anyone, and he says, there's one girl in the house that I'm interested in. Cue
Yep.
Tsubasa. Like, all these girls are together in the room and they're talking, and it's a typical Terrace House thing to ask, who do you like when a new character or when a new member comes in? And
or like, what's your type?
What's your type? And Mayu asks, are any of you two interested in any of the guys in the house? And Tsubasa's like, yeah, Sean and I have kind of been talking for a while now. And then Q, all of a sudden, knock on the door, and guess who it is? It's Sean, and he wants Tsubasa to come out. And at this point, let 4 to 5 days have just passed since Mayu had arrived at the house, and Sean does something really sweet for Valentine's, which was, by the way, it really warmed my heart. I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
He gave her, gave her flowers, and he actually confessed for the first time that he liked her, but that he didn't need a response from her yet. And I was like, damn, we're really going. Like, it's starting. So Tsubasa goes back to the house, and she shows off the flowers because she's really happy. And then Sean is telling the guys, like, he's really happy too. And then all of a sudden, before you cue back to the hosts, Mayu is sitting at the top of the stairs and she's crying.
Like, okay, well, she knew that Sean already had someone in his heart. Yeah. Right? And so, like, you can't really get out of that. Like, you can't.
I think
that.
What frustrates me the most about that, at least because my opinion of Mayu has changed throughout this. Throughout part 3, but that specific episode, when I first saw it, I was like, girl, you only met him 4 days ago. Like, it's not that serious. I'm like, bruh, like, for real. There's so many guys in the sea. I was kind of like, come on, like, don't be sad. This is like...
Which will play into something later. But remember at the end of episode 1, it was like Sena and Mayu just having dinner, and then Mayu was like, I tend to fall for guys easily, and I'm kind of interested in Shion.
Yeah.
And then Sena was like, you gotta be careful with that one, because, he's already got a woman in his life. And then, and then back to your point where she was crying over the fact that she just met this guy that she fell in love with 4 days ago. Like, that's not how it works. Like, what the hell, dude?
My opinions definitely changed on Mayu, but at this point, I was just like, okay, you, like... I don't want another Shohei in the house who cries over, like, girls he's met 2 weeks ago. Like, please. Like, we need to stop this.
Like, y'all like each other way too fast.
I know. I mean, that's the nature of Terrace House, but still, like, you know.
Yeah. But this time, it seems like it's way faster. Because before, in, like, Boys and Girls in the City, it would be like, oh, do you like to drink? Cool, let's hang out for a few dates.
Yeah.
You know? Let's hang out to get a feel for each other. This one, it's like, hey, I really like you. That's about it. Let's go out. Yeah, this episode was mainly dedicated to Shion and Tsubasa and kind of the, everyone on board the SS Tsubasa because it's taken off.
Definitely. I think what makes this episode especially really sad is that Sean and Taka, they talk to Tsubasa's dad during the end of this episode, and for the first time you find out that Tsubasa's mom died. And what is even more upsetting is Tsubasa's mom died when she was dropping her off at hockey practice.
She was in the stands.
Oh, she was in the stands. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, man, that, like, it really goes to show, like, how, like, strong-hearted Tsubasa, like, that's a very tragic moment to experience as a kid, and especially, like, with a hobby that you like, if that specific thing happens, you sometimes, like, you wouldn't even want to touch that hobby ever again.
But she overcame it. Like, the reason why, as her father explained in the episode, why she still wants to play hockey is probably because of her mom, and she wants to stay in Karuizawa because of her mom, and she just wants to do her mom proud and get on the national team.
I know.
And going back to the beginning where we talked about Valentine's Day, Shion did confess to Tsubasa, like, outright, which is confirmed, but then she didn't say anything back, but it was also implied that she likes him. But she didn't really give a response because she was about to leave to go to a tournament.
Also, he was also saying she doesn't have to give a response yet, which was good. Yeah.
Which goes to the third episode.
Oh, and then also one more comment. Sean also buys a good luck charm for Tsubasa, which becomes a visual motif throughout the rest of part 3.
Yep, which is awesome.
Yes.
And then we go to episode 3, where the tournament's over, and now Tsubasa is trying to think, does she want to go to a stronger team in Hokkaido? Does she want to stay in Karuizawa? The only reason that she would stay in Karuizawa is because she likes her team, first of all, but second of all, someone from the Hokkaido team is going over to the Karuizawa team if Tsubasa stayed. So she kind of wants to figure that out. And during the tournament, like, her team in Karuizawa, they lost. Like, it was a really sad loss, but they fought really hard, which was really good.
I know.
That part was exciting, showing the hockey stuff. Cool.
It was really cool. And Tsubasa being the captain too, it was really nice seeing her in action, and also seeing the housemates support her.
And then she finally gives Shion a response.
Yes. Except that ends in a cliffhanger. So.
Right.
But
right. Then yeah.
Before that, I just want to know your opinion. How did you feel about Taka during their kind of not victory dinner. Well, like, victory in a sense that, like, even though you lost Tsubasa, like, you're still awesome.
He brought up the fact about
how
the mother.
How do you feel about that? That came out of nowhere for me.
That was really weird.
Yes.
And, like, why do you need to talk about that? First of all, why do you have to talk about that? Like, he could have just said, Shion and I went to go visit the dad.
I know.
Like, he could have just said that to her and then left it at that. Not that, and we find out why you like to play hockey.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was in front of everyone, too.
Right. Like, are you trying to get a tearjerker moment out of this? Like, it already happened. We saw you crying. Like, why do you have to tell everyone?
That was...
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, I don't know if it's another cultural thing, but I feel like if it's your story or your thing, you should be the one telling everyone. And, not just like, I mean, granted, like, the story got revealed to national television, but still, like, to the housemates in itself, they haven't seen the episode yet. Like...
Yeah, just let them watch it so they can watch you cry. Taka.
But I will say though, like it, it's interesting because Sean and Tsubasa, they do cute, they're doing cute things finally in part 3, and it's not just kind of like dating hangout. But at this point, like even before that cliffhanger, I still kind of couldn't tell if Tsubasa really liked Sean. I mean, granted, we finally find out the answer in the next episode, but like I still wasn't sure what she was truly feeling.
Right. It was hard to tell. It was hard to read her.
Yeah.
She's always happy-go-lucky. Like it seems like she would just accept whatever he gave her, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, like I like it too."
Yeah.
But then like in the beginning, it didn't really seem genuine. It was more like I don't understand.
Yes.
Because it seems like she hasn't had a really big she didn't really have a boyfriend at the time, and she wasn't in a lot of relationships. It seemed like so.
Yeah.
Even the dad said a couple times like I've never seen her with a man.
Yes.
So. It was kind of refreshing to see them in a relationship because it's like the model and the hockey player got together. Usually like two models would get together or two athletic people would get together. But no, it was like two people from two different opposite worlds.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, so Tsubasa accepted Shion's feelings and she finally revealed that she likes him, and then they both agreed to be in a relationship, which is the start of episode 4.
Yeah. I was actually surprised that she said yes. I thought she was gonna choose her career. I mean, she is choosing her career too, but I think for the first time we're seeing that she can have both. So
yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, I like that, and I did think that she was gonna say no as well. And I rewatched part 3 with my mom, and she was like, "Come on, just say it!" Like she's like rooting for Tsubasa. She was like yelling at the TV. She's like, "Come on, say yes!" And then Tsubasa said yes, and my mom was like, "Yeah!" Like she was watching a sports game. I was like, "Oh man, well, calm down, mom." It was funny. It was great though. No, I'm glad that they're together. It's good.
I know.
We finally get a couple in this show.
I know, exactly. I will say though that their kiss was a little awkward, but like whatever.
It was cute. It was cute though. It was cute.
It was cute. It was.
She's like, "No, don't kiss me."
I know,
here.
right? That was really funny.
And then, but she still leaned in for the kiss after, and he's trying to lean in, but he's like leaning back out. But then they still kissed. It was cute.
I know. Also, can you believe that after all, like when all the hosts gave up on Tsubasa, and Tori-chan was the only one who believed, she was gone this episode.
Yeah, that she left.
She was not in this episode. I was like, what? Like, can't believe this.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. And it's also the same day that Shohei and Seina are getting closer together for some interesting reason. They go soba making at a soba dojo.
That was kind of cool. Like, that was a cool date hangout. Like...
Yeah, I'm like, I want to go to a soba dojo.
That was very unique. I would do something like that.
Yeah.
I think that at this point of part 3, I see where their relationship started because a lot of Seina hung out the most with Taka and Shohei.
Yes.
So I saw where this, like, I could see how this was formulating at this point. Yeah.
But how do you feel at this point? How do you feel about Shohei and Seina hanging out together?
I didn't mind. At this point, I didn't mind it. I think what was weird though. Okay, so this is what kind of flashing help light at this point was that Shohei is continuously like complimenting Mayu's boobs.
Yeah. He does make the point when he's talking to Taka in the bedroom after. I believe it's this episode where Taka's like, "How was the date?" And then Shohei's like, "Well, I really like Seina as a person on the inside, but I only see Mayu as boobs." Like he says, like he only looks at Mayu's boobs, and he's like he doesn't really like the person that she is on the inside, which I totally understand. But he likes Seina more as a person, even though she doesn't have boobs, and even though he likes boobs, he doesn't really see Mayu as that kind of girlfriend person, but more of Seina as that person. So that at that moment I was like, wow, Shohei really knows what he's doing. Like he's really aware of,
I know, at
his
that
feelings.
moment.
And I was like, that's great. Like that, I was actually like, oh, congrats, dude. Like you're awesome for being you're a really good person for understanding that.
I know. At that episode, I was like, oh, this is I like if Shohei and Sana got together. Like, I see it. That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they seem like they would match. They had fun together at making soba.
Yes.
That isn't until episode 4 where we see Mayu and Taka having dinner together.
Yeah.
And Mayu's like, "Oh, Taka, do you really like me? Do you like me?" And then Taka's like, "Well," Taka's like, "Well, I do like you. It's just like sometimes there's things that you do that annoy me."
Oh my god.
Yeah, like you don't like you just leave you don't just wash your dishes and leave and stuff like that. It was like really Japanese sounding things, which made me laugh.
I know, right?
Chuckle a little bit. I was like, "Oh, this is cute." So it is revealed that Taka doesn't hate her, but he just doesn't like things that she does.
Yeah.
Like some things about her annoy him. Her habits.
Yeah, it definitely. At this point, the immediate habit I see is that she's really trying to force something that's not natural. Mayu is like, she has an expectation in her head of something, and she's always trying to recreate that exact expectation instead of just being like on the couch chilling and like just chilling and hanging out with people.
Right. Yeah. And then episode 5, we see Sana, who comes back from Korea. She got plastic surgery and some injections. And I made a mistake. This is actually the episode. Episode 5 is where Taka and Mayu talk about like her habits and how he doesn't like what she does.
Oh, for sure.
And then at the end, this is when Tsubasa and Shohei both make the decision to leave Terrace House together.
Yeah, so man, I was touched when like everyone started crying. I was like, damn, I don't want Tsubasa to leave.
I know, I was kind of sad about that.
Yeah, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. As of this podcast recording, I think they are still together.
Yeah, I follow them on Instagram. No shame.
No.
And I'm like, okay, they're still together.
You know what? I don't follow anyone on opening new doors yet. I usually like, I don't know why, I wait for the season to end and then I follow who I want to.
Well, you will get spoiled if you do that, so don't do that actually.
For sure.
Because I've already been spoiled twice, and I'm like, damn.
Okay.
I shouldn't have followed them.
For sure.
So I just stopped. I don't look at Instagram anymore. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so episode 5 they leave, and I told you this, but a funny story that happened while I was watching it. I was eating some instant noodles while I was watching episode 5, and every time I would slurp some noodles, like there's the sniffles from the TV of them crying would blend in with my slurping, so it all just sounded the same.
I know.
It was like Taka and Shohei are like hugging each other, like, and my noodles are like, so it all sounded really similar, and I was laughing while they were crying. It looked really bad from an outside perspective,
yeah.
But internally, I was like, oh my god, this is really funny. So then we move on to episode 6.
And we got 2 characters.
2 more people enter. 2 more people enter the house.
Noah and Yui.
Mm-hmm. So they come from very, very different backgrounds.
They're very...
Like, I would say their backgrounds are opposite.
Yeah. How do you feel about those 2, by the way?
So let's talk about them. So the guy is another halfie, just like Shion was. And then we have another girl that's from Karuizawa, just like Tsubasa was.
We're clearly following a formula here.
So they got a local girl and a halfie.
Yes.
Wow, like it's definitely the formula they're going for. It kind of bothers me they keep going with halfies. Like, please stop. Like, I understand what you're doing, but please, can we just go back to the show's roots, please? I have no racist qualms against half people. I'm just saying, like, for the show's sake, I think they're interesting, but I'm like PTSD'd from Aloha State is what I'm trying to say.
For sure.
But so far, ironically, I do like Noah. I think he's great. His background, his dad owns, was CEO of Skymark, which is kind of like like a Southwest JetBlue Airlines, which is a huge airline company in Japan. And he clearly comes from money, but his parents raised him in a way that he doesn't rely on money. He like makes his own money. It seems like he's a very hardworking guy. He's got a really good head on his shoulders, and he's really smart. Yui is a girl that's from Karuizawa. She knows what she's doing. She has 2 jobs. She comes from like a really like blue collar, background where she, she seems really sweet and she's really quiet.
Yeah.
What were your opinions on them?
I actually have a bad feeling about both of them. And it was a little bit like, kind of, I sensed it in a way where it's kind of like you have the two people where on paper, they look really good. A lot of times that's proven that something will happen in the end. Like, for example, when Yui was talking about like how her work ethic and, you're just like, oh, like that's cool. Like, that's awesome. And then all of a sudden, I don't know the exact words, but she says something like, but I have a bad side, or like I have a bad streak too. And then I was just like, and TV 101, you would not say that if that didn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was so like immediately I was like, I don't know if we're going to see it in part 3, but just because you had to acknowledge that is now like I'm noticing it.
Right. And I still don't know what it is, actually.
Yeah, no.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
I don't think we find out. I don't think it's shown in part 3, by the way.
Right. And we'll figure that out soon, hopefully, in part 4.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she seems like a really sweet person. Even Yamasato, the host, he can't find anything bad to say about her. Like, he's rooting for her.
I know.
And that's rare. It's really rare. And it's funny that he's, yeah,
I know.
Like, go, Yui.
Yeah. I actually have no opinion. At this point, I had no opinion of Noah yet. It was just like, eh.
I'm like, yeah, to me, at that point, he was just like another Shion. Like, he does modeling, he has a dream of what he wants to do. And, he seems like he's a good looking guy. So,
yeah.
Whatever. He's just there. So that's all of, no, actually, episode 6 kind of ends with Noah and Mayu going out somewhere together.
Talking about, if I recall correctly, that episode, it ends with Noah and Yui. They were chilling on the couch, and
that's the next one. That's the
next one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh wait, I know exactly what you're referring to. But doesn't this episode end with them chilling on the couch, and then Mayu walks in to ask like if Noah and her were still going out, and then he says yes, and then you kind of like cue to like Yui's face, and she looks sad, and then it ends to the credits. Right?
I think that's the end of the next one.
That was the end of the next one? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought the next one was the couch. Like the threesome couch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. But the end of this one is like, Noah and Mayu go on a date together, and then she kind of like agrees with everything he says.
Oh, yeah.
And that was weird for him, and he's like, why are you doing this?
And
then
Yui
yeah, and then Yui's kind of feeling sad about Noah a little bit. Like you could see her like face kind of like change a little bit, because I think Yui also kind of likes Noah.
Yeah.
Also, Sana proposed to Noah like once he walked in, which was really funny.
Yeah. I know.
It's like, will you marry me? I was like, okay, I understand why, because he comes from a really rich background and he's a good looking dude. But damn, that's all Sana sees.
Remember when like they were asking actually no, that's Sean, my bad. It was Sean who was saying like when I retire I want to be in the countryside and I want to have like a family and a few pets. And then Mayu goes, me too. And I was like, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
But I realized that's Sean, not Noah.
Yeah, that was Sean.
Yeah.
But she did agree with a lot of things that Noah said. She's like, oh yeah, I want to do that too. And then even later, and I think it was the next episode, Noah talks to Taka and Shohei. He's like, man, Mayu just agrees with everything I say. Like, if I say something, she's like, yeah, me too. And then they're like, oh, that's not good.
I know.
So at this point, all the guys pretty much know that Mayu is just looking for what she wants.
I know.
She doesn't really care. She's just like, oh, she'll agree with anything.
Yeah.
And So we forgot to mention this, but Mayu is actually from the Kansai area, and she didn't really use her Kansai accent. And they asked her why she doesn't have one. She's like, "Oh, because I did some acting and I practiced standard Japanese," and she wants to lose it because she wants to be an actress. And comedians are only associated with the Kansai accent. And so when Noah came, he's actually from the Kansai area, so he has a Kansai accent as well. And then when he came on board, she's like, "Oh, hey, like I have a Kansai accent too. I'm from Osaka. Let's talk in Kansai."
I didn't notice that,
right.
or like I may have missed that part. Oh snap!
I noticed it, and then the host started talking about it, and I was like, yeah. And I was laughing. Ooh, motorcycle. Anyways, I was laughing so hard. So that's pretty much episode 7. Noah and Taka get it. Like Taka introduces Noah to his workplace, so Noah gets a job. And then the couch thing that you were talking about. If you want to talk about that more.
God.
Which was disastrous.
Oh my god. But by the way, before we even go to that, so what first happens? Is it before or after? You have to correct me. So what happens is Noah and Yui are the only people in the house, and they start talking, and so they were just like, "Hey, you want to play video games?" And they're just like, "Sure." So Noah and Yui are on the TV room couch, and they're playing video games, and then Mayu comes home from the gym, and she finds the two of them just like hanging out, and then she just sits there.
Yep, awkwardly.
And then and then I was just like, "Oh lordy!" And then actually, by the end of it, like, Noah and Mayu walk away and just kind of leave Yui there, and then Yui starts crying. I was like, oh my god, guys. Like, this is really awkward. This whole episode was awkward, but in, like, the most entertaining way possible.
Yeah, it's good. It's good show. I'm sure the producers are like, yes, more.
I know.
Leave the room.
I know. And then...
But, I mean, go ahead.
No, you go first.
I was gonna say, I sympathize and empathize with Yui because, she can't talk to Noah without Mayu being weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, she can't talk to Mayu without knowing that, Mayu likes Noah. Like, she really does know that Mayu likes Noah. But she can't have a conversation with either without.
It's interesting because if you think about like previous Terrace House seasons, like I'll give you an example. Armand, Mizuki, and Arisa, those 3 kind of like they all knew that like Arisa and Mizuki all knew that the two of them liked Armand, and then Armand knew as well. And they were just kind of like, going on different dates, and Armand was dating the two of them back and forth before he decided that he wanted to pursue Arisa. But like even then it wasn't like awkward. I didn't feel a sense of awkwardness or like complete jealousy to the point that Arisa was helicoptering Mizuki or vice versa. So yeah, and this is definitely not the first time that someone was dating. Like another example would be Yuya and Naomi went on a date, and Yuya wasn't like feeling Naomi, and it turned out like he wanted to pursue Avian. So like it's interesting that like this is very different than what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Now that date the crazy thing is it comes from a conversation with Mayu and Sena, and Mayu is looking for advice from Sena about like this whole relationship thing, and the advice that Sena gives is basically, you need to like you need to calm down a little bit, and when you calm down, like then your true confidence and your true like your true self will show, and that is like the most like confident thing that you can show someone. And then basically like be yourself and everyone will be chasing you, because then like a guy will fall for like who you are.
Yeah.
And then that gets interpreted as I am going to look my damn best for this date with Noah, and I'm gonna cook this nice dinner, I'm gonna curl my hair, I'm gonna wear this really nice dress, and we're gonna light a fire by the fireplace.
So awkwardly.
I know.
And Noah's like, oh, please help me.
I know. The cooking scene was actually, like, at first when I saw the cooking scene, I was like, oh, nothing, this might actually turn out well. And then after the cooking scene, when they actually started eating and drinking wine by the fireplace, I was like, oh no, oh god, this is bad.
Oh yeah.
And after they eat, like, he's thanking her for the meal and like all these different things, and every time Mayu is always the one asking, so what do you want to do next? And Noah never really has a clear-cut answer, except for the one time where he's just like, I want to watch SpongeBob. Like, oh my...
Which is so funny.
I'm just like, oh,
she's like,
God.
She's like, can I watch it with you? He's like, I guess so.
Yes, I know. And then, oh man, it was bad all around because, yes, Mayu was being very aggressive at this point, but also, like, man, like, Noah needs to also, like, Noah knows that Mayu likes him, and if you don't like her, then stop stringing her along. And I think this is actually the episode I started feeling really bad for Mayu, because it was the first time I realized I don't know what her personality is at all.
Yeah.
And except for the fact that she's very passionate and like she like is very like sets expectations and will try her hardest to get what she wants. Like, I don't know if I don't know what her interests are in, like her regular life. I kind of only know what she's agreed to. And I started feeling really bad, and it made me wonder too, like, if her 4-year relationship, if that was a bad relationship that kind of, like, didn't, like, it didn't help her out.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And then after that, like, basically Mayu is on the couch and Noah just says, I'm going to take a bath. And then he leaves her. And the episode ends like that.
Yep. Also, in that same episode, though, 2 other things happen. Noah and Yui go to Konyak Park in Gunma. So that was a cute little date.
Yes. Oh, I thought that was the last episode, but I think you're right.
That is the last episode.
Oh,
and you're talking about what you were talking about before is the last episode.
Oh, I see.
The one with the wine, with the wine and the fireplace. That's all the last episode.
Oh no, all I have to say is that park date between Yui and Noah. Like, Noah was trying so hard, and you can tell. Like, you can just tell. And it's just a weird situation to be in, an awkward situation to be in.
Right. And it doesn't seem like if Yui and Noah get together, it would seem more wholesome and genuine if they did, as opposed to a forced relationship with Mayu and Noah.
Yeah. There seems to be commonalities between Yui and Noah right now, so that's cool. As well as, I think because the two of them kind of come from backgrounds where, like, one of them's still in college and the other one is part of a craft. Like, he flies airplanes, or he's training to fly airplanes. I think they both get each other a lot more versus like a model added into the picture. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I also
that's all.
I also man, they really ended part 3 with a bang. Basically,
it was great.
Yui and Mayu in like 2 separate rooms, basically crying, and then Sena talks to Yui, and then Yui's just like, I'm gonna talk to Mayu, and then door shuts. I'm like, wow.
I'm like, please.
Oh my god.
Give me part 4 now.
I know, right? Like, who knows what'll happen?
Part 4 is going to be great.
Oh, I know.
All right, so the last bit we're going to talk about is the date between Shohei and Sena.
Uh-huh.
At the fancy restaurant for Sena's birthday. So they have this really fancy meal, right?
Yes.
They look really good. A little bit too fancy for my tastes, but look good nonetheless. And then they cut to them leaving, which is kind of weird because they usually just cut back to the house after that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then they're waiting for the taxi, I guess. And then he does this weird arm thing. Made me laugh. He like grabs her face as he's reaching his arm behind her, and he like pulls her in to kiss her.
Oh my god. You can completely see like Sana was not expecting that at all, and she was so uncomfortable.
Because she's like, eh? And he's like, eh? And she's like, eh? He's like, eh? I was laughing so hard. I was like, this is so weird. And then the hosts are making fun of it too, and Yamasato was like, wow, how did he turn his wrist like that? He must have really strong wrists. And I was busting up laughing. But it was, but back to your point, it was really uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. This is how I interpret it. After being friends for a while, 2 weeks ago was the first time that like Shohei and Sana actually went, like, did something to a little bit more romantic. And going from a friend to romance, I think Sana was honestly expecting like 2-3 more weeks. But then Shohei was like, I'ma go in. And that's basically what happened.
Sana was like, I'll give you 3 weeks. And Shohei's like, give me 3 hours.
I know. Oh my god. And then apparently they kissed more in the taxi.
Yeah. And according to Shohei, like, he let her kiss her.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. I think that Sana did it because she probably hasn't felt romance in a while, and she's like, all right, well, I finally get my fix.
She's also tipsy.
Yeah.
Then again, she's always tipsy. Except for that one episode, like episode 2 or 3, where she's just like, I can't drink 2 or 3 days before a show. And I was like, really?
And she's like, I'm struggling. I'm like, all right, alcoholism for real, though. But, I mean, even Sana, when she got back, she felt uncomfortable, and she said that she didn't really see Shohei in that way. So, yeah, when they got back from the date, it was just really cringy.
I know.
I feel bad for her.
The crazy thing is like, if Shohei waited like 4 more weeks, or 3 more weeks, he would have been completely in the clear, I think. But, So... it's kind of crazy because when they went on that soba date, I was like, wow, I see this relationship, doing really well. And after all of that, I was like, oh god, it's gonna crash part 4. It's gonna be really bad, y'all.
Ooh, yeah.
I know. Also, I think that Sana Sana was really opening up to, dating Shohei. I think I think he just went in. That, like...
Yeah.
That's it.
That sums it up perfectly. He literally just went in.
I know. Exactly.
Oh, but again, I think part 4 is going to be really, really good.
Oh, so much drama. Do you think...
This could be... Go ahead.
Oh. Do you think that it's going to end with part 4, or do you think we're going to have a part 5?
I think we could have a part 6.
Ooh, okay. Because
I think this is going to be the best. This could potentially be the best series of Terrace House.
I really
ever.
Part 3 was a complete turnaround, like a complete 180. It's hot right now. It's so good. This whole part is already better than all of Aloha State. It really
I'm going to
is.
go out and say that.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Aloha State ended in 4 parts. Probably because the producers were like, after the Wes and, like, Sherry debacle, we need to fucking end this right now. But now...
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's just kind of like, the possibilities are endless. So...
Yeah.
I think exciting things to come with part 4.
Yeah. I think so too. I think part 4 is going to be great.
Yes. Me too.
Can't wait.
Yep.
You gotta wait. I don't know how many more months, but it's going to come out.
Seems to be every 2 months, 2.5 months, they come out with the international version. So.
Okay. We'll see.
Alright, y'all. Thank you for listening to our part 3 Spoilercast.
See you next time.
Bye.